What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Ortho Arizona Recruiting Roundup. I'm Claudia Collins alongside Cody Cameron, and today we're talking schedule releases, which is always fun this time of year, especially with realignment and things moving around, seeing who's playing who. But let's just start with opening week. The first game that catches my attention is Brophy against Basha. That's on Thursday, August 28th. I think this is exciting for many reasons and many reasons that probably viewers can guess. But I think for Basha, they've really emerged as one of, if not the best in the state. Obviously, depends on the year in the class, but Brophy has been really interesting for me to watch. And if I'm being honest, if you watch the recruiting roundup or audibles or things I've done over the years, I wasn't super high on Brophy for some time, but it felt like it was because they were paving their way and kind of slowly really building this team and coming into their own. And now this 2026 class, we just talked about it on the last recruiting roundup, is absolutely loaded. So I actually think this Brophy Basha game is going to be pretty even, if you ask me. And it's a really high profile game. I mean, both rosters are always loaded. So I just think it's going to be fun. What do you think, Cody?
I think it's going to be an absolute blast and star-studded. 20 plus Division One recruits in this football game. We can list all of them, and it would take us 10 minutes. That's how talented both of these teams are. They're extremely well coached. I cannot wait for the state of Arizona to kick off their high school football season with Brophy versus Basha. All right, Claudia, I'm going to take it back and I'm going to head into 5A. We have a 5A playoff rematch between these two teams. Cactus Shadows versus Desert Edge. They make their way out to Desert Edge for this one. The reason why I love this game, Desert Edge's roster and their team reminds me of some of these younger Saguaro teams from 2018, 2019, 2020, where you look at each position group and there's a power four kid. That is how talented this Desert Edge team is. Coach Henry, their head coach, does a phenomenal job of making sure those kids are active in the weight room. They have one of the best track programs in the state, and the kids are ready to rock come fall. Cactus Shadows, Coach Dixon does a great job, and his kid Donovan Dixon might be one of the best athletes in the 2026 class. An incredible dual threat quarterback. Montana State, NAU, they're after him hard. He'll be a Division One quarterback. Those two teams going back and forth to kick off the season. I cannot wait. Going to be absolute fireworks over at Desert Edge.
I'm gonna have to add that to my schedule to go to. I do have one more that maybe seems a little out of pocket at first glance, but I'm really interested in this Liberty Mountain View game, and for a couple of reasons, but primarily, I think this is going to be a really good temperature check for both teams. What's interesting for me about Liberty, they've won back-to-back open division state titles. And every year, I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of doubt them a little bit. Can they do it again? Somehow, some way, they always do. And it's kind of, different from what we're talking about with Basha and Brophy. These guys don't seem to be as high profile Division One players, but somehow they make a great team every single year. And so I've learned I'm not going to doubt Liberty anymore. But I also think Mountain View really emerged last season under head coach Andy Litton, and he's a great coach. And I just think, like I said, it's going to be a really good test for both teams. Obviously, it's the first game of the season, so I'm not going to hold it super high in regard, but I just think it'll be interesting. I'm curious your take on this one.
You have two of the best head coaches in the state of Arizona going at it, Colin Thomas, Andy Litton. Okay. And Liberty, they are the Kings. They are, without a doubt, without question, the Kings of Arizona. They should be on number one on every ranking, on every team listing until they get beat by an in-state team. But the thing about Liberty, they get better every single week. It's a product of great coaching, it's a product of great players. But if you're Mountain View, the time to play those guys is week one to open up the season. And you just said it, it's a great litmus test to see where your team's at. Both teams graduated a pretty good senior class, but at the end of the day, Mountain View's got Brady Goodman. He is a gunslinger. They got talent around him. Mountain View can score against anybody. That was evident last season. It is a rematch of last year. These two teams also played last year, but I just look at it, same thing. I think it's fireworks galore. And if it's a track meet, I think Mountain View can hold tight. But I mean, Liberty's Liberty. They do so many things so well better than any teams in the state of Arizona. It is a marquee matchup to open up the season.
And I'm sure we'll be talking more about schedules and matchups as we get closer to the season. I know it feels far away, but you and I both know it's going to be here as soon as we know it. But for more recruiting news and just high school football news, head to sports360az.com.